son's behind in Dublin, and they don't know I'm here. No, I don't tell them when I'm going away, or they plan things. And then when I come back, I get this: where have you been? Why didn't you tell us where you were? Why didn't you ring? I just shrug and go up to my room. Like, they don't know where I am now. They think I went to Lidl. It's a strange place, Lidl. You go in for bread and milk, and you come out with a wetsuit and a Robert E. t-shirt. So I moved to Ireland in 1990, which is probably before a few of you were born. Now, I've coats older than some of you. But 1990 was a historic year for Ireland, because it was the first year ever that they qualified for the World Cup. And they went berserk, right? Their finest hour was when they beat England 0-0. And I was married to an Irishman for 6 years. When I first moved there, I knew nothing of the history, the 800 years of English oppression. Or as he now says, 806 years. This nurse bent over me, she said, "What do you think you're doing, coming over here stealing our men?" I said, "Don't you know there's a man shortage in Dublin?" "Well, I gave him back." It's quite hard bringing up 3 boys. Basically, you're rearing 3 replicas of someone you don't like very much. Suppose if I'm having a really bad day, I download new software just with a message at the end that says you've been successful. But there's one thing my sons and I have in common. We all started growing facial hair at around the same time. I found a way to feel good about my age. I only go to films with Helen Mirren in them. Because women my age tend to be invisible, and that doesn't bother me. I like shoplifting. Now, for a while there, I wasn't having much joy in the bedroom, but that's all changed. I've been having the most amazing sleep since I bought that new mattress. Got it in Lidl. I only went in for bin bags. Now, the most pleasure I get in bed now is from freshly laundered sheets. But I'm quite lazy about changing them. That's why I like staying in hotels, you know, go away for a clean weekend. But I don't think men are that worried about clean sheets. I think it's a woman thing. And I was saying this in Birmingham last week, and the guy at the back went, "Sheets?" So I was sitting on the tube coming here tonight, and I was sitting opposite this young couple, and they hadn't been going out for very long, and he was telling her his dream, and she was listening. That was how I knew they hadn't been going out for very long. There's nothing more boring, is there, than listening to someone's dream? Unless it's Martin Luther King. Train yesterday afternoon in Surrey, and these school kids got on and they started slagging each other, and this is how posh they were. One of them said, "I've run out of metaphors." My eldest son's at university in England, and he gets a bit of slagging for being Irish, like potatoes are mentioned a lot, and he's asked, does he get up at 8 o'clock? It's ridiculous. No student gets up that early. I remember when they were little, like it got really boring, I was a bit restless, so I bought a camper van, and I threw them all in it, and we went round France for 6 weeks. And the eldest one lived on a shelf in the roof for 6 weeks. And he used to lie on his stomach and dangle his head down to see what was going on. That was like having God in the camper van. And he was just as judgmental. And then when they were teenagers, I had a lot of trouble with them when they were teenagers. I think nature's way of making you forget the pain of childbirth is to follow it with 18 years of worse agony. Sometimes I feel envious of those old people in old people's homes, old women in old people's homes, you know, who've forgotten they ever had children. So I've spent a lot of time in supermarkets. I've even got my favourite delivery truck. It's a frozen chicken van, because it's got written on the side, poultry in motion. Yay. I've a friend who makes jewellery out of finger food. She isn't paid, volunteering. I told that one in Birmingham and they didn't get it. No, they didn't know what a volleyball was. I got a chicken nugget earring, doesn't work. So they're introducing postcodes into Ireland now. We haven't had postcodes before. I think some of your postcodes here are quite nice. Like there's a comedy club in Newcastle, and the postcode sounds like someone's asking you to sit down and have a nice cup of tea. It's this, ME1 4PG. And it's a bit annoying not having a postcode if you try to order something online from England, because often a postcode's the required field. And there's nothing an Irish person hates more than being told by an English person that a field is required. So, Brendan's just staring at me. Got one Irish guy staring at me. So yeah, I noticed when I come back to England that you take health and safety very seriously here. Like there's safety warnings everywhere, whereas the Irish are a lot more relaxed about that. Like they came top in the survey as the people most likely to stay put when the fire alarm goes off. I quite like that. Sure, it'll be grand. And here I noticed a really big poster about the dangers of the escalator, and a picture of this woman sprawled upside down at the bottom of an escalator. And then next to it there was an army poster. No mention of any danger. So I hope you've laughed a lot tonight, because you know it's good for your health, don't you? Yeah. Strengthens your heart, lowers blood pressure. For you, that is. For us, it's the reverse. So just be aware that we're sacrificing our health for the sake of yours. Do you know, the door on the way in here tonight says pull. Well, thanks, but I'm under enough pressure as it is. You know, comedians are a bit like prostitutes. What other people do for fun, we do for money, if we're lucky. Mostly we're just sluts. So I never thought when I was doing my university degree, I never thought that my vocation would end up being staying in cheap hotels and exposing myself to strangers. Because when I was young, I was very shy. My mother would say, be more outgoing, be competitive, you've no killer instinct. So I pushed her down the stairs. She's from a very rough part of Manchester, my mother, and I remember when I was little I wanted to join the Brownies. She said to me, we stoned Brownies where I was.